Okay, so we're live. Hi, everyone. We'll let more people to join.
Sounds
But
good.
yeah, but meanwhile, thank you everyone who is here. If you can let us know over the chat that you hear us okay, that you hear David okay, you see us, everything works
Hi, everyone.
perfectly. Uh, so let's see that. If you can give us a thumb up or just tell us that you hear okay. And you can also share where you're joining us from, just so we'll have a little bit of a small introduction. Let's see what goes on. Okay, all good. Thank you, Abe. Happy to hear that. Austin, cool. William, everything looks great. Thank you very much for letting us know. So we'll quickly start. We'll let other people join, but I'll just make sure we all are here for part of our Prep Your Firm 2026 initiative. We're bringing this industry some of the coolest and best tools and resources and speakers to help our firms, to help the firms in our industry to be ready for 2026 and not just, stumble into that and then figure out what's going on. And today's session is a really interesting and unorthodox kind of a session because it completely changed how I look at a lot of other features and other options of AI assistance and this world. Because when I talked to David at the beginning, I was in the mindset of this is a very functional tool, right? It helps me to do something that is very functional for me as a previous firm owner and for our firm owners. But what David taught me was actually about not the functional side, but the experience side, the emotional side, and the impact it brings to our clients. And I think this is an interesting angle to look at that. And I'm sure that David will have some examples, right, to show
Yep.
us. So I'll be in the background. I'll let David lead the session. If there's any questions, feel free to write them on the chat and I will share them at the end during the Q&A session. And that's it.
Yeah, thanks, Elad. Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy tax deadline day. I know October 15, for those that filed taxes, I know it's a busy day, and congratulations on getting to the finish line. And, I'm sure everyone's just waiting to get to the other side and tomorrow, next week, to just relax a bit. So thank you for joining us on this special day today. First of all, I want to start off with thanking Elad, thanking Anchor for the opportunity. They're launching such a very awesome series to support accounting firms with prepping your firm for next year. I actually look back and, happy to share a bit my background, but I was an accountant for the first 10 years of my career, working at mid-tier and big four accounting firms like Crowe, Deloitte, PwC. And I always look at like the few months before the new tax season, right? Like those are the times where you want to optimize processes, adopt new tools, change your ways of working, and really reflect back on the last year of like, how can you do things better? How can you do things differently? And I'm excited today to share more about Abacor and really share like what I've learned in my first 10 years as an accountant, and what we're doing now to really looking to transform the industry, and really ultimately why this topic is also really fascinating for me, because at its core, what Abacor is doing is really looking to elevate the client experience. And I'm happy to share more on how we think about that, think about that. But that's such an important lever when you think about, in the end, like accounting is such a people business. Working with clients very closely, making sure that they have a great experience. So I'm excited to share more about what Avocor does. So yeah, very quickly. I am the CEO, co-founder of Abacor. We started in August last year, serving over 200 accounting firms now across 5 different countries. It's been a great first year. We are maybe a bit about my background. Like I said, first 10 years as an accountant, then actually switched to the technology side as a product leader at Amazon, and then most recently at Gusto. I was a product leader on the accountants team and was building the tax credits product there as well. So have always kind of been within the accounting industry, either as an accountant or building software for accountants. Okay, awesome. And with that, we'll dive in. I'll just move to the next slide. So goals for today, objectives. We want to spend a bit of time talking about client experiences, what great looks like. Then jump into share about Abacor, why we exist, the problems we're looking to solve, how we're looking to elevate client experience and ultimately delight our customers more, and then provide a demo of our platform as well. And then I think most importantly, if there's one takeaway, is really to learn and have fun. I think there's just so much rapid changes happening right now with AI. Even I can't keep up as a founder and builder in this space. So yeah, really excited for the innovation happening in the space. But yeah, really wanted to just walk you through, educate everyone, and just have a bit of fun together over the next 40 minutes or so. Moving to the next slide, just want to kick us off, maybe setting the lay of the land, a bit of the background on where we're at right now. So I'm sure everyone in this call and have heard about ChatGPT and the magical moment on November 2022. I think what's crazy to really think about though is we're still less than 3 years since ChatGPT had its launch moment. And, since that moment, we've gone from, ChatGPT launching to seeing different voice models, being able to many different like use cases with ChatGPT as well and different large language models as well. So I think it's really fascinating to see the boom in AI. And you're seeing a lot of the economic value be derived from this technology shift as well. And I think what's been really interesting to the right of this slide is some of the early use cases. A lot of the early use cases haven't really been in accounting. And a lot of them has been around content creation, legal, software engineering, and so forth. Those industries have been really hot with AI use cases. But I'm really excited for accounting. Together with Anchor, we're really excited to really think about how AI should be leveraged for accounting firms. And I really think the next year or two, you'll see a lot more interesting activity in that space. Next slide is really just very quickly on the state of the industry. I think, I'm sure a lot of you will know more than me with some of the talent shortages and pipeline issues we keep hearing about in the industry, as well as the unprecedented demand, right? There's the skyrocketing demand for accounting and tax. We consistently hear it from our customers and partners that they can't keep up. There's just a ton of inbounds right now from businesses and individuals that need accounting and tax support. And really, like, how are we going to service these growing demand in the future? It's really, hiring, but also technology and AI as well. And to the right of this slide, you see a lot of the larger firms already invest in AI, whether they're building their own tools or adopting or partnering with AI tech companies as well. So yeah, it's a really interesting time in the industry. I think we're all figuring out, but I think having sessions like this, learning together, figuring it all out together is the best way forward. Okay, I got a fun icebreaker for everyone here on the call. About your favorite restaurant, actually. So on the topic of client experience and when I think about that, it's such an important topic when you think about client experience because in the end, client experience is a flywheel, right? Like if you provide such a great client experience, that helps with retention of customers and that also helps with generating new businesses and new clients as well. So maybe, take a quick moment and if you can just paste in chat, what would a restaurant have to do for you to rate it 5 stars on Yelp? I'm just curious to see some of your answers here. What type of service do they have to provide? How would they have to make you feel? I'm just curious to see some of the answers. Very cool. Excellent customer service. Agreed. Attentive service. I love it. Yep. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So we got great service. Attentive service has been called out twice. Yeah. So I think it's pretty common knowledge around great service, great food, just an overall great experience. Now I'm going to take it closer to home, actually. And I think you will be able to answer this question better than most people. Like, what would it take for you to rate an accounting firm 5 stars on Yelp? And actually, I was using Yelp just 2 days ago and realized you can actually rate accounting firms on Yelp, which I wasn't aware of, which is pretty cool. I'm curious if this differs from a restaurant experience. Just take a few moments there. Fast response times, love it. Respectable, knowledgeable, proactive. Thank you, Michelle. Personal service. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Awesome. Wow, this is perfect. I love all the answers. This is actually a perfect segue to my next slide, and I'm actually glad a lot of the points you mentioned is actually touched on this slide here. I was actually when I was designing this slide, here are basically 3 tips from my experience in the first 10 years of being an accountant on how I really think about elevating a client experience. And it's really cool that a lot of the answers in the chat really touches on these 3 points here. I'll start off with number one. When I reflect back on what made a great client experience and what made clients stick and come back, first one was being available and responsive. I think like always being there for your clients during particularly good like challenging times, but also good times as well, celebrating with them as well in their wins was very important. I think we consistently also see the power of being responsive. We're moving to in 2025 now. We can get everything on demand. From food on demand on Uber Eats and DoorDash to Amazon, like delivery being shipped the next day. I actually think this trend for the next 5 to 10 years will even, the next generation of clients will even want everything on more demand, more so than the prior generation. So I think being available and responsive is going to become even more key. I'm excited to show you today on how Abacor supports and helps with that. Number two, be curious, sweat the details, and go above and beyond. I saw a call out before on go above and beyond, so I really love that. But I think being curious and to me is really like really thinking about the client's business much more than from just like an accounting and tax lens. Like showing that you care, showing really thinking about the product they're building, the competitors in their landscape, the market they're in, the industry they're in. Whenever I really applied that and showed curiosity and care, that was a flywheel again. That brought in more work. They referred additional clients to me, and I think like just showing that curiosity and care goes a long way. Sweating the details is around showing your working out, showing how you got to the conclusion, show how you got to the recommended strategy. I think a lot of that goes a long way, and yeah, so I think like going above and beyond in number two is very important. Number three, provide proactive and personalized communication. I love the call out in chat on proactiveness as well. And when I really think about at its core, what Abacor really touches on is really number one here and number three of really proactive, personalized communication. We've spent the last year talking to over 100 firms, and we heard a lot of the pain points with using templates. A lot of accounting software or a lot of accounting firms use templates right now as a way to scale, right? To how do you build consistency within the firm and repetition as well throughout everyone within the firm. But what that lacks is like personalization. Really tailored to that specific client, their specific pain points or problems or their situation they're in. And I think that's what AI can unlock. AI can really unlock that personalization once it knows every context about the client. So yeah, these are 3 tips from a recovering accountant. I'll move on to the next session. So next session is the fun part. We're going to go deeper onto Abacor. I hope that first session made sense. It was just to give you a preview of, Abacor and then also talk about client experiences. But let's double click into Abacor and really give an overview of what we do before jumping into the demo. So yeah, over the last year, so we started the company in August last year, had our first birthday just a few months ago. But before we actually wrote any code, we spoke to over 100 accounting firms, 100 plus, and we consistently heard these learnings here that you see on the screen. I won't go through every single one. Poor and expensive note taking. I really think about my time when I was at mid-tier and big four accounting firm, and also running my own firm. I was a $300 per hour note taker. Wasn't great at it all. Very expensive. I was missing key information, and then sometimes my partners would invite another accountant into the core as well. So there's two note takers, two junior note takers, almost like $1,000 per hour, which the time was written off. A lot of this time wasn't billable to the client. So yeah, very inefficient. Delayed client recaps as well on the top right hand corner there. We heard from accountants that sometimes they spend a whole week before they send a follow up recap email. And like we touched on earlier, like everyone or clients wants everything on demand now. So that's not going to probably cut it in the next 5 to 10 years. I think most importantly, as well, we consistently hear just a pain and struggle to give full attention to your clients during meetings. And when you think about a meeting is such a very important ceremony, a milestone in part of an accountant's role. It's your time where you have face-to-face time with your client, share what you're doing, share the deliverables, share the output, share all your hard work, get answers. That's that time where you want to be more human, where you want to really connect with them, and not really focus on the note taking or other admin within a meeting. And I think at the bottom right, increased regulatory scrutiny. What's really interesting here, certain countries like Australia, and I think US is really starting as well. Some of the government bodies and IRS in Australian tax office equivalent are introducing rules where you need to maintain very clear, strong client records, and these includes meeting minutes, right? From meetings and different touch points. So there's like regulatory scrutiny as well, which is like maintaining strong client records, which is really interesting. So yeah, these are some of the pain points we're looking to address. I hope some of these resonate. I sure resonate with some of these during my time as an accountant. Um, quick slide on this one. I won't go into all the details, but really some of the benefits and efficiency gains we really unlock for firms is around these 5 pillars here. Optimizing time, so saving time, saving money. We were working with a mid-tier firm who basically shared to us they were paying about $100,000 a year for an accountant. And 80% of their role was taking notes, preparing the meeting agenda, and then also sending the recap email and preparing the meeting minutes. So a lot of like great ROI there for firms. And most importantly, the middle one here, improved client experience, and yeah, really touching on the topic for today's webinar is around delivering a proactive, high touch, and personal client experience. And I saw a few of those comments in chat, which is great. And then ultimately also enhancing team morale and compliant client records. So yeah, these are some of the benefits of Abacor. So at ST with Abacor, we're building an AI meeting assistant very tailored to accounting firms and accountants. I'm sure you've used some of the horizontal generic ones like Fathom and Fireflies and so forth. We've consistently heard pain points and from accountants that they're looking for a very accountant specific one, very tailored to an accounting professional. So we're excited to deliver that and show you a bit of the product right now actually. But yeah, I guess like to touch on like what makes it a little bit accounting specific. It is around the templates that we're about to launch. It's around the integrations with practice management. So we're live with integrations with Carbon and Keeper already. Financial Sense is about to go live in a week or two as well. And yeah, we've already also started talking to Anchor as well. You can imagine how seamlessly having a meeting that just like connects with proposals and billing and all that good great stuff. So with that, let me jump into the demo. Hope you can all see my screen here of the product. Cool. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, got Abacor open now. The user here is Christian Wolf from the accountant. So this is a dummy account. Christian definitely did not make this account, but you know we thought we leverage his persona to do this demo. So very quickly with Abacor. To get started, you can connect your Google Calendar, your Microsoft Outlook, import all your calendars into the platform. This shows no events today because this is just a dummy account, but you can imagine all your events, all your meetings are shown here within the flow, platform agnostic across Teams, Zoom, Google Meets. We also have in-person recording as well. I won't click it now, but in-person recording is still a very popular, I guess, method for firms. We've heard some. We're working with quite a few top 100 firms as well, and they still do a lot of in-person recordings, whether that's in-person client meetings or in-person team meetings as well. Right now, it's a web app experience, but we're soon going to launch the desktop app and then also the mobile app as well to further improve this experience. Invite to link as well. You're able to, for meetings not scheduled on your calendar, you're able to easily invite the assistant for any unplanned or ad hoc meetings as well. Just simply copy the meeting URL and paste it into the platform here to invite the assistant into the call. I'll jump on to some of the integrations that we mentioned. So, you know, I just touched on you can connect your Google Calendar, Outlook, Carbon and Keeper is live already, and I'll walk you through that experience today. And then coming up is Financial Sense as well. But with a lot of these practice management integrations, it is a push-pull mechanism. So meaning you can pull your contacts and clients directly from Carbon Keeper, your practice management software, directly into Abacor, and then we can automatically push and sync meeting notes, transcripts and action items directly into your practice management solution. So yeah, pretty streamlined there. We heard that was previously very manual. You know, accountants were manually typing into their practice management software, you know, typing notes into each client. Or actually, the most common case is like not at all. It was just too painful to add notes manually into their practice management, which brings gaps, right? Then there's gaps into knowledge sharing and knowledge transfer within the firm. So we're excited to really automate that and fix that. So I'll jump into quickly some of the post meeting experience and what that looks like today. So here you see an example. We have an example of a new client discovery call. So this is just dummy data, but you got a new client discovery here. Within a few seconds after the meeting, all the notes are generated here, all the key details are generated. We've got a lot of great feedback that the quality of our notes are far superior than you know, some of the generic meeting assistants like Fathom and Fireflies and so forth. And that's because we've actually like tailored to the output to like what an accountant would like to see. We, you know, all the numbers being captured very clearly, very precisely and accurately. Key bullets as well, all the action items auto captured, and actually auto assigned to an owner and a due date if that's called out. This is just like one of the early versions of the notes. We're actually going to further continue to improve this as well on making sure we show like what's important to an accountant. So you know you can imagine things that we're working on right now is bolding and highlighting all the numbers. We're going to eventually introduce tables and different formats of notes as well, and even allow you to export into CSV, Excel, and Word documents as well. So really tailoring the output to what an accountant would like to see. We've also heard a lot of feedback as well on the importance of like accuracy of the notes. And sometimes there's like spelling mistakes, like AI sometimes does hallucinate. So giving the accountant full control into editing the notes, right? So you can actually full edit the notes however you'd like. You can easily change the spelling, right? You might want to change names very quickly and replace all. You can do that very seamlessly as well, before sharing the notes to your clients or saving it into your document storage. So making the notes very flexible and editable is very important from a lot of firms we're working with. Um, just clicking on recording and transcript. So you see the full recording here, the full transcript. You're able to download the video. We also do a LinkedIn search of all the meeting attendees as well. You can also edit the name of the recording. Actually, you can also use AI to even come up with a creative name as well if you don't want to create your own meeting title. So as you can see here, it's created a AI has created a meeting title as well for you, which is very neat. Um, and maybe very quickly on some of the experiences you see in the toolbar here. And this goes towards improving client experience. So improving client experience to me also means how do you basically maintain momentum and how do you streamline communication internally and externally? And driving momentum is that it's like how do you quickly respond to your clients? How do you quickly update your clients? Or how do you quickly get your team up to speed, right? From that meeting, from that client meeting that you're in. So one way is really sharing the notes instantly with your team members, and we've got numerous ways to do that to socialize notes and context from meetings. But I remember, when I was an accountant myself, how that used to work was my partner would be that I worked with or manager that I worked with would be in a client meeting. They'd have the client meeting in person, and they wouldn't have got back to me until 2 or 3 days later on like how that client meeting went. My partner would then come back like 2 3 days later and be like, oh David, the meeting went well, these are the action items, these are the next steps. But there's already that time lag, right, or 2 3 days that has passed by. And like we touched on earlier, we're moving towards a generation where everyone wants everything on demand and instantly. And I think a few of the comments in chats was fast response times, proactive communication. So this just goes towards that. So sharing notes, you're able to, imagine you finish a client meeting, you're able to instantly share the notes with anyone, that you want to share it to with 4 levels of permissioning, actually. Share it privately, so keep it to yourself. Share it to meeting participants only. Share it to everyone with the same email domain as you, so potentially everyone within your firm or anyone with the link. And also giving you the control to include the video or not. Sometimes you might not want to include the video and you just want to share the notes. So giving users full flexibility there as well. We also have a fancy PDF export feature that you can see on the screen here. We heard from a lot of firms, sometimes they just want to export the notes, store it in Google Drive, in Dropbox, in SharePoint, under the client folder. So we developed a very neat PDF exporter where you can actually dictate and define what you want to include on the PDF. So giving you full flexibility to do that. And that just goes to really democratizing the knowledge sharing. Um, this feature here, email, before I touch into it, is one of the key ways we're looking to streamline communication with clients. So you see here, this draft email, this basically Abacor basically drafts an email in your voice and tone. So sounding exactly like you, in the way you usually type, in the way you usually write your emails, and really cutting, like previously this could take 45 minutes, right? Writing a follow-up recap email. I used to spend about half an hour, 45 minutes just trying to remember what was said in the meeting, trying to read my messy notes on my notepad, and then craft a very neat and succinct recap email, where we can save you instantly draft the first pass or first draft of the email, and then letting you kind of refine the last 5%. So getting to a good first draft is very important. So you can see here, you can select the recipients, who you want to send the email to, like who was in the meeting. You have a whole guidance prompt box, which basically, you can dictate what to add in it. Like for example, add a sentence that tax deadline is October 15, and create more, like you might want to show more bullets instead of sentences as well. Um, and to make it very personalized to you and really understand your voice and tone is really through writing style examples. So you're able to feed it examples, sample emails of how you write, and then basically Abacor takes that, trains that, and generates the output based on your voice and tone. So you can see here, here's an example email. These are just, so you can put fake names, fake emails. It doesn't have to be real emails that you send to clients, but you're just meant to provide some examples. It takes that and it basically generates emails for that for you in your voice and tone. You're able to select brief, standard, detailed as well. Here's an example of generating an email with those additional contexts and making it more detailed. Um, and it's added that sentence here without you needing to type anything. So yeah, very neat there. We also allow you to copy the email or just very seamlessly open it in your email provider, your email client. So, we use Gmail, you might use Outlook. You're able to instantly open that and send it directly to your client or your meeting attendees. So yeah, very neat feature there. Definitely open to questions at the end as well, if you have any questions on this. I can spend a bit of time now to show you some of the integrations and how that works. So here you see an example of Carbon and Keeper. Um, so with Carbon integration, at least in this first initial integration, how we're approaching it in Carbon, there's basically three hierarchies of contacts. There's individuals slash people or organizations and client group. You're able to select where you want to push the notes. You might want to push it to, let's just say Abigail. You're able to assign an author of the notes. I'll just say that's myself. We're even able to go down to the work item level. So basically, the hierarchy in Carbon is the contact level, but then within a contact, you can select the work item. So for example, in Abigail, you might have work items for 2025 tax return or 2024 tax return or 2023 tax return or so forth, or June bookkeeping or month or May bookkeeping and so forth. So you're able to select the work item. You're even able to assign it to your owner. So, let's just say I want to assign it to Delane from my team for her to own this task. Set a due date of 30th of October as well. And you simply just export it to Carbon. Um, and I can actually very quickly just show you how that works. So I mean our Carbon instance here. You see Abigail, and you see straight away, right? You see that I just imported into Carbon just now with the full notes here, with Delane assigned and a due date, all centralized into the practice management platform with all the key details, action items, and notes. So yeah, this was a pretty manual process previously, but we've automated that. So this is the first version. What we're working on now with the integration is actually like auto pushing as well. So imagine 10 p.m. every single night, there's an auto push, or 2-3 hours after a meeting, it gets auto pushed into your practice management solution. Right now, it's a manual push, but we're already looking to improve that. And to the topic on elevating client experience as well, one of our favorite features is Ask Abacor. Ask Abacor is almost like, imagine having an assistant or ChatGPT for your completed meeting. You can really, jump right into it with like highlighting key decisions. You can ask it questions. Um, we even auto suggest like follow-up questions for you as well, based on, for you to continue to go down the rabbit hole and keep going deeper and deeper. And this is actually, I see this as like a great way for you to like quickly get up to speed. Like this is a new client discovery course. So imagine you could be like, oh, what should I include in the scope for the proposal? Um, and instantly, we'll be able to suggest what should include, what was spoken in the meeting, um, and what to include in the engagement letter. And then you see here as well, there was call outs on specific fees, and that's all included as well here. You can even ask it to, like, generate a proposal, um, and include fees, right? Um, you can basically have full flexibility to do anything with this. And these are some of our customers' favorite use cases, of generating proposals, generating engagement letters, really understanding the full scope, and then even generating SOPs, like generating SOPs of like monthly bookkeeping processes and so forth. So yeah, very neat here. You kind of see what it has, what the output looks like. You can take this as a first draft, make some changes, uh, you know, upload it into Anchor and so forth, and gets you like 80% there. And then you can just finish the last mile. So yeah, pretty neat feature. They're a very powerful tool that a lot of our firms have really loved using. So that's the basically walkthrough of the Abacor product today. Hopefully that demo was very helpful. Actually, one last thing, a few last things is actually, sorry, the search anything feature as well. So you're able to search like anything. You're able to search the contact, the meaning, keywords as well. And I actually forgot to show the contact section as well. The contacts here is actually, imagine being able to view all your contacts, your clients, and organize your notes by client level, but also non-clients as well. Because sometimes you might be speaking to non-clients, like maybe a business or an individual that they're a prospect and not yet a client, or you might be speaking to a vendor or the IRS or so forth. So you also want to capture those meanings. So you're able to basically have contacts by client and also non-client. These contacts are imported from Carbon, but you're also able to manually create your own contacts as well. Um, yeah, so you're able to add contacts here. You're able to import your contacts from Carbon and Keeper. And I'll just click into one of these contacts to show you what that experience looks like. So I've clicked on Delane. You see her key client profile details, the type of client that is, key communication information, who they're associated with as well. Are they associated with a specific organization or client group? If that's already linked in Carbon, we actually maintain that, and that's synced over here into Abacor as well as a whole timeline. So you have a whole timeline of all the meetings you've had with a specific client, all neatly organized and structured here for you to access and for your team to access as well. So yeah, very very streamlined experience there on just quickly accessing information at the right time, at the right moment, and improving knowledge sharing and knowledge transfer within a firm. And ultimately, the why is really like the theme of this today is really to elevate the client experience and delight our customers. We've consistently heard from firms sometimes there's knowledge gaps, right? From the partner to a new hire to a junior in the team. How do you better streamline that communication throughout? Ultimately, creates a better client experience. So yeah, that's a demo. Happy to take questions on the call. I'll just finish off with a few slides before we maybe open up for some questions, if that works, Elad.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. So let me just like pivot back onto the deck, and then we'll round this up before we jump into some Q&A. So yeah, just to quickly wrap up, yeah, just want to say very grateful for a lot of the accounting community today. We've mostly been heads down building, haven't really been sharing publicly what we're doing until actually breaking news. Next Tuesday is our big launch moment. Next Tuesday, we're going live for the first time, sharing publicly what we're doing. But we're very grateful for a lot of our early customers here and partners we've been working with. And some of these are some of Anchor's biggest fans as well. So we're very grateful to have some great customers with both platforms. And you see some of the quotes here. It's really around time savings, delivering a better client experience, allowing the accountant and firm owner to focus more on high value stuff instead of admin and stuff that you don't enjoy. But yeah, very quickly to close, feel free to reach out to us, David and Delane here on the call if you require any further information. We do have a special offer here today for any Anchor customers. We usually provide like a 2-week trial, but we're bumping that up to a month here today. Just scan the code there, join our website, and yeah, would be more than happy to help and support. But yeah, we can jump into some Q&A with the last 10 minutes or so. Hopefully that's helpful,
Yes.
Elad.
Yep. I think that it was very valuable, but let's see if there's any questions. By the way, sometimes when there's no question, it's I think it's it shows a lot of value. So we have Deb here who asked, "Can you put the QR code back on the screen?" So there we go. David just did that.
Thank you,
Um,
Deb.
any questions for David? Any thoughts? Anything about the product? Anything about how to elevate client experience or ways or actions that you can leverage? Take the time and write them. If no questions, and I do see there is Michelle wrote, does this integrate with tax though?
Yeah, great question, Michelle. We've been speaking to Taxstone leadership over the last 6 months. They're still in discussion where Financial Sense is going live next in like a week or two. However, Taxstone is probably more later in the year, start of next year.
Anyway, David shared his personal email or Delaney's email, so you can also reach out directly and get Deb. Said that she's very excited about this product, and I agree. Right, these are I remember that when I talked to David, I told him, listen, I'm going to send out notes of our conversation, but it will take me less, it will take me longer than you got used to. And then, by the way, it made me think, wait, so I'm going to take the time now. I'm going to write the notes because I want to make sure that getting those notes out, they show respect, they show appreciation, they show something that someone is actually want to create the relationship and the partnership together. So he got that within 15 minutes,
Yeah,
not through Abacor, but I agree. That's a great option. That's a great solution, and that's why
yeah.
we're here. So if there's no other questions, we'll end today's webinar. And thank you, everyone who joined us, and we
Thank
hope to
you.
see you in our next sessions. Thank you, David.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Have a great one.